And welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we're on iRacing for the final round of the Pagnian Imports Super2 series, and tonight's round is at Bathurst Mount Panorama Circuit, so there's going to be some exciting action around the mountain in the iconic Holden vs Ford battle. Tonight's session, we've got 10 minutes of practice, weather is clear, then we've got 10 minutes of qualifying, then the race is 40 minutes, weather is also clear. There's single file restarts with lap cars to the back. There's ongoing weather variation of 20 with 25% relative humidity, and the cars are capped at 47% fuel, meaning they will need to come in for fuel to finish the course of the 40-minute race. And in the championship, after the fourth round, we have Steve Denby leading the championship by only 26 points. So very close between himself and Aiden Ford, and with Greg Salon within a fighting chance of taking a spot at the championship. Previous results last week for round 4 at Chicago Street Circuit. We had Steve Denby take victory after qualifying second, and Greg Salon after qualifying pole took the fastest lap bonus points. So we're going to jump over onto the track now. Drivers are currently in the practice session, and I will bring up some audio. And if you're joining us for the first time, don't forget to hit that follow button so you can be notified when we go live with iRacing on Monday nights, and then also Project Cars 2 on Thursday nights. We also have our final round this week in the FG V8 Supercars, also at Bathurst, so plenty of V8 action this week at the mountain. Currently got 23 drivers registered, so it's going to be pretty interesting seeing 23 cars doing battle around Bathurst. I think we may have a few new debuts tonight as well. Another Pixel driver, Brett Andrews, and Corey Brand. Another KFC car joining the ranks. I think it's the first KFC Commodore. I think that looks like Edge holiday units on the bonnet of that car. We did have Lake Edge Holiday Units V8 Supercars Championship last year. Ooh, big broad slide, nice save actually. Just bringing that in just in time. Another KFC car, Stephen J. Martin. Steve Denby, our championship leader, is going to have to make sure he ends up doing a great qualifying session as well as a good outcome for the race, as there is 25 points up for grabs for a qualifying in pole position. Drivers are awarded points for qualifying. He's going to need every point he can get tonight to ensure he maintains that lead on the championship. We're getting first times coming through. Adrian Simpson first across the line, landing at 2:06, followed by Brett Andrews getting his first time lap in at 2:05. And Aiden also in the same position, trying to be able to score as many points tonight. Could very well be able to take the championship win. So the mountain tonight will be the decider. Bruce Robinson hitting that curb down through the chase, getting that car rather airborne. Looks like all the KFC cars are running like edge on the front. Jeez, Sebastian Vandel. Connor Nixon currently the quickest time out there at 2:04. We're seeing some very quick pace out there. Not a whole lot of difference between our first few drivers. Steve Denby also landing in with the 2:04. He's just brought the car into the pits. Brett Andrews with the 2:05. Blake's just run off track. Haitley will jump on board for probably won't have time to jump on for a lap. We'll jump on for a qualifying lap. It's good we don't miss the practice and most of the qualifying session this week. We were running into lots of issues with my mic last week, having to do a few restarts. So do let me know if the mic audio is a little bit different. I did have to do a little bit of a workaround to try and fix some firmware issues and software issues with my headset. So a little bit of noise suppression causing the mic to actually disconnect after a period of time. Debuts tonight, and as the session is finishing out 10 minutes of qualifying, they're going to have to play a little bit of strategy here with 23 cars and only 10 minutes to get in a good solid qualifying lap. There's not going to be too many opportunities and a couple of mistakes that could be very well ending the session for them for qualifying. It's likely we could see drivers not get a time on the board. Order of names are just all being mixed up. So Jason Schooler, I'm sure that sounds pronounced, debuting with us tonight. A lot of KFC branding out on the track at the moment. Several bits of racing. Oh, there's already someone that's gone off. I'm not sure whose car that is. It may have been Gander's car. It wasn't his car, he wasn't quite there yet. We'll jump on board with our championship leader. Get his first time lap. It's actually not even in my long list of names here. And he comes, Conrad approach on the chase, getting ready for his first timed lap. On board the Commodore. See if he can take a pole time here. Squeal those tyres, still quite cool. He's got a lot of traffic coming out as he's coming up Mountain Straight. He's going to want to make sure he doesn't get held up at all. Obviously on that throttle. undercutting. Looks like a little bit of a lock-up here. Hopefully no spin. This could very put a hamper right on his qualifying lap if he gets stuck behind some traffic, or especially if someone goes for a spin. A little bit of curb straight out to that edge. Moving over, letting him through as they are on their out lap. Nice line across skyline. Braking down for the S's and the dipper. Hanging on to second gear as he comes down to the approach from the Forest Elbow. Getting a very good run out of Forest Elbow. Is going to put him at a nice speed as he comes down through the bend of Conrod. 295, I think I just saw. Nice line through the chase. Can he keep it on? Well through Murray's. That's a 204.476. That's qualified him in second place. Scenic rather than TV view. Greg Slong has taken pole so far, setting a 203.127. Seven drivers getting a time on the board. Connor Nixon qualifying in second. He's just pulled the car up. There's only 5 minutes remaining. So I'm going to give a real opportunity for maybe 1 or 2 qualifying laps to get in. Oh, significant issue going on there. That was Brett Andrews getting caught up in the wall. And that was Greg Salon that was also then stuck in that. But he has taken pole. He's got enough time to get out there, get those tyres up to temp, get another lap in. Stephen Banks just pulling the car up. I'm not sure if he'd gone for a spin going through Hell Corner. Philip Buckland qualifying in 13th. Set 212.813. Qualifying in 6th position. Blake Urquhart's put himself into 5th. 14 drivers now with the time on the board. Robbie Bradbury qualifying in 10th position. Justin Haley to get a time on the board. It should be his first timed lap. Drivers have to be very cautious not to make any wall contact around, otherwise will invalidate the time. Hardigan to get his first time lap on. Russell Gander coming down to the final corner now. This will be his first time to lap. Gets the time on the board. Qualifies him into 18th position. It was a 2:11.483. Track temperature has slightly gone up. Oh, that's just cost Tony big time. Hopefully it has invalidated his lap. Dropping chipping a tyre off on the skyline. That could have ended quite badly. That's usually puts it into quite a big spin. Usually ends the lap quite abruptly, putting it straight into the wall before heading into the S's. So it was well saved. A bit of traffic coming up as you go up through the cutting. Oh, a little bit slippery still. Oh no, that's done it for Troy. Has this made some wall contact? It's probably invalidated his lap. He hasn't got a time on the board. Greg Salon still is holding pole position at 203.127. Connor Nixon then in with a 204.055. A little bit of contact between three cars here. That's just done it for their qualifying session. All the KFC cars getting in the lockup. Down through the chase. And Greg unable to avoid that, running into the rear. A 203 for Greg's probably going to be pretty tough to try and beat. Currently qualifying in the 7th position. He's set a 205.774. That's 2.6 seconds away from Greg's pole time. Currently several positions behind Steve Denby. He's going to have to try and bump himself up rungs a few more. Improves by 2 tenths there. He's now set at 205.561. So let's bump him up a couple of spots. Blake Urquhart just bumps him back down, qualifying in with a 204.820. Very nice lap. Make sure I've covered all our drivers as well. Oh no, it's unfortunate. Now through Griffin's fault. The session finished anyway. Probably would have had enough time to be able to get one more lap in. And then we'll be heading over for the start of the final race. Tony Phillips gets a time on the board that qualifies him into 9th position. He's still out on track. There'll be enough time for Aiden to get time in. Must have been, not sure if he'd already crossed the line there. Sebastian's qualified in 6th with 205. So we'll bring up the results for that. Says I can find my button for it. That'll be quite handy anyway. So we have qualifying done. Greg Salon takes pole position, sitting at 203.127. And then we have Connor, Steve, Brett, Blake, Sebastian, Aiden, Justin, Tony, Stephen, Martin, Stephen Banks, Robbie Bradbury, Matt Hardigan, Sam Tucker, Matt Tesserio, Aaron Maguire, Corey Brand, Bruce Robinson, Jason Sculler, Philip Buckland, Russell Gander, and Troy Mortensen. And a few of the drivers just parked up as the session is finishing, getting ready to load into the final race. Once all drivers have exited their cars, it'll start to load up that session. So probably having a quick breather before the 40-minute race. Just waiting on Matt and Corey to ready up, and then we'll be seeing drivers start to hit the grids. Don't forget, if you're joining us for the stream, jump into the chat, let us know who you're here to cheer on. And there is the sound effects controls down underneath the stream. You can cheer on and applaud or boo or do other fun sound effects, so do have some fun. And we are streaming at a nice 1080 HD, so hopefully it's looking nice and crisp. There, all drivers have been taken across, ready for the race session. Drivers got a minute 45 to load their setups and grid up, otherwise they will see themselves starting from the pits. See if we can get a best shot for the start. So I'll have some fun playing with throttle. Most of the drivers have readied. 6 drivers to go, and then we will see the countdown for the lights to go green. That track temperature is still staying at about the 26-degree mark. Humidity staying the same. Should be rather sticky out on the track. Anyway, all the drivers have hit that ready button. So we're about to get the green for the final race of the Pagnian Imports Super 2 series.
Green, green, green.
And we are green, and away we go. Greg Salon gets off to a very nice start. He's going to have to try and move straight out and take that line, ready for Hill Corner. Gets away beautifully. Can all 23 cars get through Hill Corner nice and tidily? Yes, we do. Look at that, a fantastic start. Connor Nixon sitting right in behind Greg Salon. And we got 4 orange pixel cars all in a row going down the straight. I think these guys did a 1, 2, 3, 4 last week. And they do it again. They seem to be in some pretty good form. Greg seeming to be able to pull away a little bit from Connor Nixon. He's gaining a couple of tenths on him just through the sector. That curb putting him slightly offline as he comes down in through the S's. Cars holding on very well. Blake Urquhart starting to really close down in on the tail of Brett Andrews. There's that 3 midline sim racing cars following the 4 pixel. Brett Andrews managed to pull away a little bit going down Conrod. May be interesting just to see what the drivers are doing in the way of loading their cars up for fuel. Whether they're going to try and aim to be running a little bit leaner for the first bit and be able to last out. That lap was a 2:04.852 by Greg. For a grid start lap, that is a very quick time still. He's very tight, a nice tidy first lap. We've got Stephen Banks and Robbie Bradbury all sitting in close. Sam Tucker right up the tail of Robbie. Looks like he's going to try and go for a pass. I think he's maybe contemplating going in free wide, but he's going to get a pass on him going up through the cutting. That's quite ambitious. He does hold back. Seem to have a fair bit of pace and really probing to have a look at trying to get around. Straight up against that wall, scrapes that mirror. Using every bit of track he can. A little bit of an inside line. Oh, there's been a hit. I think that's...
The yellow flag is out.
So it had a big hit. So we'll try and go back and see what happened there. So we'll rewind back and loses it in the S's and then hits Justin. It's quite a big hit. That could have been a lot worse. That is quite lucky. It's not requiring a tow at all. It seemed to be dealable damage. So not race ending for him at this stage. And the drivers do have fast repairs. Tony Phillips and Justin Haley both heading off into the pits to tend to the repairs. This will close the gap back down that Greg was starting to pull over Connor Nixon. In the course of a couple of laps, he was getting that gap to about half a second to almost 0.7. So they should be in and out nice and quickly. Down to rejoin a relatively okay position. A lot of drivers also being in and pit. Aaron Maguire heading in, Matt Hardigan also deciding to pit. Bruce Robinson is taking some damage as well. Drivers will be organised back into their position. So I know there should be no lap cars at that stage. I don't think anyone had to go in for some repairs. PNC Bro, if that's how you pronounce your name. Thanks for following. Hopefully not too many more incidents for the guys, only getting 2 laps in. It's quite unfortunate. That car really seemed to oversteer coming down into this. I'm not sure if that might have been locking up as he was turning down in through the S's. That car just dove straight over to the right hand side. And drivers will be trying to make use of the safety car as much as they can to try and conserve that fuel. That's what the view I was actually looking for, was the blimp. So we've got 23 cars out there. Greg Salon will have control of the restart. So we're back to single file. He had a brilliant start off the grid. So I'm sure he's going to have spectacular job at the restart for the race. I think all drivers have been in and pit out. And Blake deciding to head into the pits now. Not sure if it's going to be an opportunity to throw some fuel in. It's an interesting decision to be lapping this early. Sorry, heading to the pits this early. Several others also opting. That's Stephen Martin. So Stephen Banks heading in. Oh, there's been a little spin at the back. I think it's Russell Gander. Oh, and then puts it into the wall. That's going to be costly. He's done some heavy panel damage. I think there's some steering issues going there. That car seems to be crab walking along pit straight. Drivers may have just been in for a quick splash of fuel just to top that car back up. Maybe every little bit of fuel they're trying to get into these cars, with having them capped at 47%. So it doesn't look like they'd made any contact anywhere to warrant them heading in for a quick fast repair whilst under safety. Blake's been in there for quite a while, so I'm not sure quite the strategy is. And see if it pays off for him, see if he makes it back up through the rungs. So Phil Buckland in 21st, 20th for Corey Brand. Justin Schooler in 19th, Stephen Martin in 18th. Tony Phillips in 17th. Justin Hagley in 16th. And you cop a good hit after the incident in the S's. Just only got scraped as well. Could have almost got through that rather unscathed. So a fair bit of bad luck for himself. Aaron Maguire in 15th. Hardigan in 14th. Bruce Robertson in 13th. Oh, sounds like some wall contact. It's going for a spin on the safety lap again. Russell taking a fair bit of damage in that spin. See, both front quarter panels are gone. I think the rear's gone as well on that right hand side. Car's probably crab walking a fair bit. You can see that steering is well offset. Pit lane's probably closed now. That means he's going to have to try and cope with a wounded car for the restart. Trey Mortensen in 11th, Sarah in 10th. We have Sam Tucker in 9th. Bradbury in an 8th position. Being a little bit of a gap between himself and Adrian Simpson. Sebastian in 6th position. We have Aidan Ford in 5th, Brett Andrews in 4th, Steve Denby, championship leader, in 3rd, and Connor Nixon and Greg Salon, our race leaders. This will be the last safety car lap. Blake, I'm not sure if they'll be waving him up and around. Stephen Banks is starting to pit in again as well. Sure if he's got some damage to that car. Quite an interesting decision to head in. Blake's pit was 69.5 seconds, so it was a lengthy stop. So I'm not quite sure whether that's the thing with having the cars capped at fuel. I don't think you can then actually go beyond that fuel capacity. These cars will be using a fair bit of fuel under these safety laps. So on board the FG Falcon with Greg Salon. Well, after this lap, we'll see the safety car go in. These tyres are going to be going rather cool. See Banks re-entering. After that pit stop, it was only a 5.5 second stop. So he's showing that he's pit twice now. It's an interesting decision to pit in. Both himself and Russell's just gone in and tended to that damage. Of course, he had the opportunity. There's about 30 seconds to try and catch up to the pack. That should be enough time for him to catch up to the rest of the field, ready for the restart. Safety cars picking up a little bit more pace. Russell trying to chase them down. He's not too far from. Doesn't want to risk another incident at all. That would be rather costly. A slightly longer pit stop as well. Now catching up to Stephen Banks. He's leaving a little bit of distance between himself and Tony Phillips. He may be looking to utilise a little bit of space at the back down conrod. Try and get those brakes back up to temp, as well as the tyres. There's nothing worse once those brakes have gone cold, getting out there for your first lap. And then really needing to use that brake pressure and it not being there. So with 3 laps under caution around Bathurst, it's a very long time. So we'll be seeing safety car go in. Seen the safety car series is in, so the race has now been handed over to Greg Salon. He has full control of this restart. It's green flag. Gets off to a brilliant restart. So now lap 5. There's 23 minutes remaining. I think drivers were heading in for some fuel. 3 laps under caution would have been quite extensive on that fuel use. Connor Nixon holding on very tight. Okay, Greg start to put that gap that he was starting to put down on those first couple of laps. Two seem to be pulling away from Steve Denby. Sebastian Vandel and Aiden both closing in and quickly catching up to Brett Andrews. Those three holding very tight. Fairly tight field down the midfield. Looking for some positions here for Forest Elbow. Blake looking to make a move around Jason Schooler. A little bit of a scrape to the front of Blake's car. Steve Martin and Troy Mortensen were side by side. Ooh. Jason Schooler makes a nice pass just after the bend. I think there's a little bit of a lock-up for Troy. He's lost a couple of positions. Justin Haitley and Aaron Maguire now getting around him. Can he hold that tighter line down through Murray's? A race leader's pulling away from Steve Denby. A little bit slippery as they hit that exit curb. A fight going up Mountain Straight between Troy Mortensen and Stephen Banks. Troy backs off and giving Stephen the line. Tony Phillips gets ahead of Corey Brandt. Nice little battle going on down the back end. Sam Tucker starting to close the gap in on Robbie Bradbury. Andrew starting to feel a little bit of pressure from Aiden Ford. Lock of the tyres as they come down, ready for Forest Elbow. Sebastian's going to have a fantastic slipstream advantage down here. But he seems to be actually starting to pull a little bit away. Aiden seems to be having a lot of pace. Gets that car right up on two wheels through the chase. Didn't seem to lose too much pace out of it. I think he's going to have to take a defensive line here. Aiden's looking for an opportunity to get around. Greg still leading now, pushing the lead out to a second. This is where he was before safety car got called out. Hopefully he can keep this momentum up. If he can push that out, but he will need to head into the pits at some stage. Those drivers that have been in a pit under the safety car, will they have enough fuel to be able to last out the remaining 18 minutes? Be an interesting pit strategy. It may not be enough to be able to get them home, meaning they will need to get back in for another pit stop. Tony Phillips glitching out a little bit. Bit of a battle between himself and Bruce Robinson. It did look like he actually had a disconnect, vanished from the session for a moment. Bruce is quickly closing on Tony Phillips, but he's lost a little bit of pace there. It's going to allow Corey to be able to close in pretty quickly. Race leader Rex Long now putting that gap to 1.3 seconds. Pretty good position. Having a nice lead over second place. And then Steve Denby, our championship leader, now currently in third position. He's trailing by 2.7 seconds. To secure his championship win for the Pagnian Imports Super 2 Series. All he needs to do is ensure he finishes ahead of Aiden Ford. He's hot tight on the tail of Brett Andrews. He's looking for an opportunity to get around. Looks like he's going to go for it here. Not quite. Not far enough up on that track position to be able to squeeze his nose in and own the line. I think we're going to see a pass here on this lap. He's getting very eager to get around. Through the commentator's curse, we're jumping on board with him. Brett showing a little bit more pace going through Skyline, but he's lost it there, having to hit a little bit of extra brakes and locking it in the dipper as well. Falcon with Aiden Ford as he's hunting down Brett Andrews. Aiden needing to see himself move up the standings board. Sebastian looking a little bit battle damaged at the moment. Looks like that bonnet's missing. Taking quite a hefty scrape. The car seems to be doing rather well. He is bringing in the pits. Not sure if he's been given the flag to be required in for the repairs or not. But at this stage of the race, if not having actually pit, we've usually been seeing the drivers getting about 25 to 30 minutes worth of fuel out of the car. So we've got 14 minutes left of the 40-minute race. That's probably a good opportunity to get into the pits. It's going to guarantee him enough fuel and rubber to last him out the remainder of the race. And then with the faster pairs, it'll see him in and out nice and quickly. Coming next to it now, trailing by 2 seconds. Steve Denby in third. Brett Andrews still managing to keep Aiden Ford at bay. Now Stephen Martin closing down on Blake Urquhart. Looks like Blake's having trouble trying to get around Matt Cesario at this stage. Jason Schooler tucking in behind Stephen Banks. Sebastian back out on track, back into 18th position. Some very quick pace. Sam Tucker locking as he goes down through Forest. Also, Sebastian a little bit of slip in that back left wheel. I think he lost a fair bit of momentum coming out. It's probably going to cost him coming down and be able to look at making a pass unless you can get him under braking down through the chase, but it may be risky, especially if he's just coming out of the pits. Still putting down some very quick times. I think he's also got the fastest lap for the race That's a 2:04.166. That was the last lap set as well. So that was on lap 10. It was led for the full 10 laps of the race. And that car would be starting to get rather light. He's going to have to start contemplating when to bring that car in for fuel. If he can handle that car while she starts getting rather light. Then he should probably stay out there for a little while longer, otherwise he could potentially run a risk of slipping that car out. Fair bit of space in between the rest of the race leaders. But Andrew's back in 4th position. Ooh, a little bit of contact. I think they're a lap down. Will they recover safely? Not sure who that is that he actually made contact with. I think that... it's Troy Mortensen. He has a couple of laps down as well. So he's in a safe location. He's going to wait for some traffic. So it could have potentially been a safety car incident. Would have been rather costly. So Greg, Connor, Steve and Brett all in the pits. Robert Bradbury also getting in. There's just over 10 minutes remaining. Those cars would be rather light. We have Justin Haley moving up into 4th position, and he has been in a pit. So will that car last out? Not sure if throwing the fuel in the couple of laps under safety will be enough to get him through. Can the car hold out for 9 minutes? Did he conserve enough to be able to get that car to survive? A little bit of a fuel splash under those repairs could be enough. Greg maintains the lead. Adding a little bit of extra fuel, what looks of it compared to Greg. Slightly longer pit stop. 2.5 seconds slower compared to Steve Demby. Connor Nixon starting a little bit slippery going down Dipper. Troy having to tow that car in the end, so that's why his car's parked up. Philip Buckland in for his stop. Greg having a massive lead now, putting 6.1 second gap over Steve Demby. Steve doesn't need to be too fussed about Greg getting too much of a lead on him. He does have 55 points, and then he took 25 points for the pole position. As long as Steve finishes in that top few, he should definitely still be able to secure the win for the championship. And there are post-race penalties, but it looks like it's all clean racing for these guys up front. Guys starting to bunch in. That's Justin Haley, Blake Urquhart and Steve Martin. Like, looking to get around Justin Haley, almost going for an outside line. It's quite interesting. Justin holds that more inside path. That's allowing Stephen Martin to quickly close in on Blake. They were too wide. Also, Blake's looking for several opportunities. He's got to be cautious here. Doesn't want to force an error. He's going to make a pass on the S's. It's going to put him in a very bad position. He may have been a little bit in the wrong there. I think he may have just started to squeeze in, but not quite enough. That could have gone badly for the two of them. I want to actually go back and just see how close that was. Jump onto the guard of his car. If I can get the left front suspension. Just tucked in. Yeah, so not quite getting far enough up ahead to be able to own that track position by the looks of it. That could have gone quite bad for them. So the two recovering rather nicely. Greg still favoring that race lead, now leading by 6.4 seconds. Connor Nixon not letting up on Steve Gemby. He's going to make him work for it. Stephen Banks starting to quickly catch some ground up on Aiden Ford. Oh, heavy wall contact. Not sure if he just lost that front quarter panel in that wall hit or if that was already missing. Sebastian currently in 7th position. Just finally missing the wall on the exit through Forest Elbow. Drops a tyre off. Oh, has been hit. That's going to be... Not sure who that is. That's Adrian Simpson. Can he get that car out of the way? He's off the racing line. It looks like he's taken some heavy engine damage. We were just talking in the lobby beforehand just how easy these cars take engine damage. Starting to close down on Matt. There's only 3 minutes remaining. This is happening where Greg is. Yes, we should see as Greg crosses the line this time around. White flag will be shown. He's coming up to some back marker traffic. I think we just had Bruce Robinson retire out by the looks of it. So the blue flag shown. That's Philip Probably let him through on Mountain Straight, most likely. Unless he's going to right back off on Pit Straight. Greg playing very cautiously. Not quite sure if he was going to drop right off or not hold the line. Steve Denby and Connor Nixon also getting around some lapped cars. We've got someone taking some huge damage. I'm not sure who that is at the back. I guess Stephen J. Martin. Not sure what caused that incident. That was a pretty... Well, you took a fair bit of damage. Not sure what was going on. Looked like he'd already dealing with some damage. And I think the car actually died. Or he's ran out of fuel potentially. And then made wall contact. So that's cooked his car. That's unfortunate for him. With only a minute remaining. There's only 30 seconds remaining. This could very well be the last lap. Greg does have about 7.7 seconds to play with. He could slow down a little bit. See if it does wave the white flag. Will he cross the line in time? If he crosses the line, so it's going to be white flag shown now. So one more lap remains. Steve and Connor fighting it out pretty tough here. Oh, Philip Buckland's just gone off through Hell Corner. He's taken a pretty hefty hit. Is Connor going to make a move on Steve on the final lap? Slippery. Falcon hunting down that Commodore across the top of the mountain. Rather wide on Skyline. Was really pushing that car to some hefty speed going along the top. Pre-monstered. Lapped by Greg Salon. The car was wavering around a little bit. Greg would not want to be caught up in an incident now after having led for the entirety of the race. That's 16 laps. He's been out in front for the whole of it. He's going to be bringing the checkered flag home from Bathurst. And well done to Greg. Congratulations, taking victory at Bathurst. Steve Denby and Connor Nixon battling out. Oh, he's made contact to him. This is going to be costly for Steve. As he crossed the line, that was a pretty hefty hit. Hopefully that was after the finish line. And that fault incident for Steve could definitely cost him some big points right at the finish. Especially when he's got the championship on the line. To have him cost some big points right in the last coming seconds. So we have Connor Nixon in third, Brett Andrews in fourth, and Aiden Ford in fifth, and Greg Salon doing some victory burnouts along Mountain Straight. So well done to our drivers. We'll bring up the results while the drivers do some burnouts, and hopefully they jump across into our Discord so we can interview them. And then we'll bring up those results now. Greg Salon takes victory in the final round of Pagnian Imports Super 2 Series, followed by Steve Denby and Connor Nixon also on the podium. And the rest of the standings is Brett Andrews, Aiden Ford, Robbie Bradbury, Sebastian Vandel, Stephen Banks, Blake Urquhart, Jason Schooler, Sam Tucker, Aaron Maguire, Matt DeSerio, Tony Phillips, Matt Hardigan, Justin Haitley, Adrian Simpson, Philip Buckland, Stephen Martin, Russell Gander, Bruce Robinson, Troy Mortensen, and Corey Brand. And I think Bruce did retire out, but he was enough laps up that it didn't cost him some more positions. So I'll jump over to the Discord and see if we've got our guys there. Looks like the guys are a little bit shy, so not jumping into the Discord to do the interview. So we'll wrap that up. That does conclude us for this series, and we do have more iRacing coming up next week. So if you haven't hit that follow button, do so, as we'll be back over with the Legacy Ferrari 488 GT3s. They're a load of fun to drive. So it's the Pagnian Imports Ferrari 488 Championship, and it's just a 4-round series, and that's going to take us up to Christmas to wrap up the 2021 season for Apex eSports League. And then, of course, we are sponsored with Pagnian Advanced Simulation and Next Level Racing. So a big thank you to those guys. And it's going to be great to see these guys getting out and around in the Ferrari 488 at Red Bull Ring, Laguna Seca, Sebring, and of course, got Autodrome International, Enzo ED Ferrari GP. So it's great way to wrap up the Ferraris at the Ferrari track. So thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you trackside next time.